I'm sure that's made an enormous difference to her ability to cope.
The British royal family has always been a battlefield of silent power moves and quiet rivalries, but nothing has exposed the hidden tension quite like the latest official photoshoot from Buckingham Palace. In this jaw-dropping image that's got the whole world talking, King Charles stands with his heir, Prince William, and the poised Princess of Wales, Catherine, but it's Princess Anne, the King's no-nonsense sister, who takes centre stage with undeniable authority. And guess who's missing? Queen Camilla, the woman who's been by Charles's side through scandal, storms, and every royal twist imaginable. Now, palace whispers claim this wasn't some innocent scheduling mix-up. Not at all. Sources hint that this was a calculated exclusion engineered by none other than Princess Anne herself. Known for her strict sense of duty and her refusal to play favourites, Anne allegedly made a bold move that's left royal watchers stunned. The picture, snapped during a private Balmoral gathering in early September 2025, was supposed to showcase family unity in a new era of the crown. But one glance, and it's obvious, that photo screams division hidden behind perfectly polished smiles. Why would Anne, at this stage in her life and career, choose to sideline her brother's wife so publicly? The answer may lie in her deep loyalty to royal tradition and her quiet frustration with what some insiders call Camilla's modernized influence. At 75, Anne has outworked almost every royal alive, clocking hundreds of engagements a year, never needing the spotlight to prove her power. Yet her presence in that centre position, standing strong beside the king, spoke louder than any speech could. Meanwhile, Camilla's absence has stirred waves of speculation. After years of battling public judgment and media firestorms, she fought her way from the other woman to Queen Consort, a transformation no one thought possible. But even after all that, old grudges apparently still linger in the royal corridors. And this snub, it feels personal. The tension between Anne's unwavering sense of legacy and Camilla's softer, controversial reign seems to have reached a breaking point. The infamous photo dropped quietly on the royal family's official Instagram on September 15th, 2025, captioned simply, "A family moment at Balmoral." But that calm caption didn't fool anyone. Royal watchers went wild, analysing every inch, from Anne's commanding stance to Camilla's glaring absence. Captured by one of the palace's most trusted photographers, the shot shows King Charles in his signature tweed jacket, smiling warmly as he links arms with William and Catherine. Yet it's Anne who stands firmly at the centre, radiating calm control. Her posture powerful, her face unbothered, her message clear: she's the backbone of the monarchy. This isn't just a family photo, it's a statement, a royal chess move wrapped in smiles and symbolism. The question now buzzing across Britain: has Princess Anne drawn an invisible line inside Buckingham Palace? To really grasp why Princess Anne might have allegedly banned Camilla, you've got to dig deep into their history, because this feud runs decades long. Anne, born right into the royal spotlight in 1950, has always lived by one strict rule: duty above everything. She's faced her own heartbreaks, from her rocky marriage in the 80s to tabloid chaos in the 90s, yet she came out untouchable in the public eye. While others stumbled, Anne kept her focus sharp: charity work, horses, and hard work. That's her brand. But when Camilla stepped into the royal picture through her affair with Charles back in the 1970s, it shook Anne to the core. Camilla represented everything Anne reportedly couldn't stand: disruption, scandal, and a threat to the monarchy's order. And let's be honest, the shadow of Princess Diana's memory made things even more complicated. Biographers like Tina Brown revealed in the Palace Papers, 2022, that Anne saw Camilla as an intruder, someone who didn't belong in the family circle. And that friction never truly faded. Fast forward to Robert Hardman's Charles, The Making of a Monarch, 2024, which detailed how Anne was hesitant about Camilla's rise to Queen Consort. Their clash became impossible to hide by late 2020 when, during a joint engagement in Hampshire, Camilla reportedly suggested changing royal protocol, but Anne instantly shut it down. Headlines blared, "Anne won't let Camilla break the rules," and the world saw that frosty royal energy play out in real time. By 2025, the tension had exploded again. Tabloids buzzed with stories claiming Anne had allegedly influenced decrees that conveniently left out Camilla's name. Viral clips from August showed documents signed by both Charles and Anne, but no mention of Camilla anywhere. Coincidence? Hardly. At its core, this isn't just a personality clash. It's a power struggle. Anne stands for a tight, traditional monarchy ruled only by blood royals, while Camilla's growing influence opens doors for her own circle, including her son, Tom Parker Bowles, whose rising royal visibility has not gone unnoticed. Insiders are whispering that Princess Anne sees Camilla's growing presence as watering down the very purity of the monarchy, and that belief may have fueled her bold move during that photo shoot. What started as quiet side eyes and subtle snubs has now exploded into a full-on visual statement. That Balmoral portrait didn't just capture smiles, it forced the public to stare straight at the uneasy alliance holding the crown together. But here's the real question: how does Anne hold enough power to allegedly ban the Queen herself? The answer lies in her lifelong role as the royal family's iron hand. Anne isn't just Charles's sister, she's his enforcer. As the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, she was raised with duty in her DNA. Her connection with Charles runs deep, built on decades of shared responsibility and loyalty to their late mother's legacy. And in 2025, with Charles focusing on his recovery and William stepping further into his future role, Anne's word reportedly carries more weight than ever before. According to palace insiders, the entire photo shoot was actually Anne's idea. She supposedly pitched it as a symbolic moment, a way to spotlight the working royals who represent the monarchy's strength. Herself, William, Catherine, and the King. No distractions, no complications. No Camilla, and when it comes to credentials, Anne's track record speaks for itself. In 2024 alone, she completed over 400 royal engagements, more than even William. Her no-glitz, all-grind attitude has made her the monarchy's quiet powerhouse, a sharp contrast to Camilla's more glamorous, attention-grabbing style, which many see as too showy for royal tradition. Reports from September 2025 even suggest there was heated debate behind palace doors, with Anne arguing that including Camilla would muddy the message of unity, especially as whispers swirled about the Queen's exhaustion and possible health strain. Then came the viral YouTube video. Princess Anne finally exposes Camilla's dark royal secret, a clip that sent speculation soaring. But is this so-called ban just a one-time royal power play, or the latest move in a long-running pattern? Those who know Princess Anne say it's anything but random. Her history speaks volumes, like back in 2020, when she reportedly refused to curtsy to Camilla in certain royal settings. That wasn't defiance. It was Anne sending a message. She bows to the crown, not convenience. By claiming the center spot in that now iconic Balmoral portrait, Anne wasn't just posing. She was making a statement loud and clear. She's positioning herself as the guardian of the monarchy's true image, the protector of royal purity and discipline. And that subtle but powerful move may end up reshaping Camilla's entire standing within the family. But the fallout from that photo doesn't stop at Anne and Camilla. It's shaking the whole royal structure. King Charles, stuck between his steadfast sister and his sidelined wife, reportedly agreed to the photo layout just to keep the peace during his Balmoral break. Anne reportedly argued that including Camilla would muddy the message of unity, especially as whispers spread about the Queen's health struggles and her growing fatigue from royal duties. Then came the bombshell. A YouTube video posted on September 25th, titled, "Princess Anne Finally Exposes Camilla's Dark Royal Secret," which sent the internet spiraling. The clip claimed Anne had referenced Camilla's past controversies to justify the Queen's exclusion, and suddenly every royal watcher had an opinion. But here's the million-pound question. Was this so-called ban a one-off power move, or part of a bigger pattern? Those familiar with Anne say this is classic her. Remember 2020, when she famously refused to curtsy to Camilla in certain royal settings? That wasn't defiance, that was a message. By putting herself front and center in that Balmoral portrait, Anne made it crystal clear. She's the guardian of the monarchy's true image. Her stance screams control, and her move might just redefine how the world sees Camilla's position inside the royal circle. The photo's aftermath rippled through the entire family. King Charles, torn between his loyal sister and his sidelined wife, reportedly approved the setup just to keep the peace during his Balmoral retreat. But insiders say his discomfort was obvious. After all, Camilla's absence cut deep, undermining years of effort to make her fully accepted since their 2005 marriage. Meanwhile, Prince William and Catherine seem to have come out shining. Their prominent placement in the photo wasn't just flattering, it symbolised the next phase of royal leadership. William's vision for a modern, efficient monarchy aligns perfectly with Anne's no-nonsense pragmatism, and Catherine. Her bond with Anne has only grown stronger, especially after the Princess of Wales's emotional cancer battle in 2024, when Anne was one of her most steadfast supporters. Still, this so-called exclusion hasn't come without backlash. Critics say it risks alienating Camilla's supporters and even straining relations with her children. Online, royal fans erupted into chaos. Hashtags like Anne versus Camilla started trending, with some praising Anne as the protector of royal tradition, while others accused her of acting petty and power-hungry. Queen Camilla has spent decades fighting to secure her place within the British royal family, turning herself from one of the most controversial figures in royal history into a respected queen consort. But that shocking Balmoral photoshoot in September 2025, the one she was left out of, felt like a slap in the face. After all those years of proving herself, this public exclusion wasn't just a snub. It was a wound to her hard-won legitimacy. At 78, Camilla's journey has been anything but smooth. She's survived brutal headlines and relentless criticism, especially during the Diana years, yet she rose above it all with grace, building her image around compassion and service. From promoting literacy to supporting survivors of domestic violence, she's worked hard to rewrite her story. Her 2025 calendar alone was packed, opening a library in Cornwall, hosting women's shelters at Clarence House. She was everywhere, championing causes close to her heart. But that family portrait changed everything. According to insiders, it was Princess Anne who pushed for Camilla's exclusion, a move that stung deeply. Sources close to the Queen say she was blindsided, confiding to aides in quiet disbelief, reportedly asking, "Was that really necessary?" Still, true to form, Camilla refused to let the public see her break. Just weeks later, she stepped out in Oxford for a literary festival, smiling for the cameras, gracious as ever, even as reporters hurled questions about the Balmoral snub. Social media posts from August 2025 hinted at something bigger. Fans noticed Camilla's name missing from a royal patron decree, and it instantly fueled talk of a growing pattern of exclusion. Many began to wonder if this wasn't just an oversight, but part of a quiet campaign to push her aside. Camilla's story has always been one of survival and reinvention. From being labelled the other woman to rising as the Queen consort, her journey has been steeped in resilience and reinvention. Her 2005 marriage to Charles marked a huge turning point. She stayed patient, humble, and committed, dedicating nearly 2 decades to softening public perception through steady service and quiet charm. By July 2025, she had climbed to a respectable 55% approval rating, according to a YouGov poll, a sign that people were finally warming to her. But this sudden exclusion from Balmoral threatens to reopen old scars, dragging up the ghost of those ruthless 1990s tabloids that once tore her apart. To make matters worse, her son Tom Parker Bowles also found himself in the headlines this year, under scrutiny over his 2025 cookbook promotion, adding another layer of pressure to Camilla's already strained image. Even her attempts to connect with Anne haven't gone smoothly. Their 2024 joint appearance at a horse trials event, which was supposed to symbolise unity, ended up feeling ice-cold. Anne's strict adherence to protocol left no room for warmth or sisterly bonding. For some palace watchers, Anne's alleged photoshoot ban was never personal. It was ideological. In her eyes, Camilla may always be a consort, not true-born royalty. Push back against Anne's influence and risk further tension, or retreat gracefully, preserving dignity but conceding ground. Whatever path Camilla chooses could redefine her legacy and the monarchy's fragile equilibrium. As she faces this public slight, she must summon the same grace and grit that have carried her through decades of scrutiny. Royal protocol, often dismissed as ceremonial formality, is, in truth, a battlefield where power, loyalty, and tradition constantly collide. At the centre of the controversy surrounding Camilla's exclusion from the Balmoral photoshoot lies Princess Anne's steadfast adherence to this unwritten code. Known for her meticulous respect for hierarchy, Anne's decision to sideline Queen Camilla in the September 2025 portrait wasn't a whim. It was a calculated assertion of royal order. According to the official hierarchy, Camilla, as queen consort, technically outranks Anne. Yet, in private, Anne's status as a blood royal grants her an enduring, almost ancestral authority, one she has long wielded to remind others that lineage still reigns supreme over acquired titles. This tension is hardly new. In 2024, during a joint engagement in Hampshire, Anne famously refused Camilla's suggestion to deviate from protocol, a moment that made headlines in the Daily Express. That quiet act of defiance foreshadowed what has now become known as the Balmoral snub, Anne's decision to exclude Camilla from a family portrait designed to emphasize the core bloodline. The move echoes past royal power plays. Back in 2020, discussions on royal forums like Quora debated Anne's strict interpretation of protocol, often dismissing it as harmless tradition. But by 2025, the stakes have changed. This latest exclusion isn't just symbolic, it's a public declaration of where power truly sits. The Balmoral photo ban marks a visible fracture between duty and affection, between the inherited and the earned. Even more telling are reports that in 2024, Camilla's name was quietly omitted from an internal decree on royal patronages, a detail resurfacing in social media chatter across X in August 2025. The consequences of Anne's protocol-driven decision ripple far beyond the confines of a family photo. For Queen Camilla, the exclusion deepens her sense of isolation within a dynasty she has fought for decades to be accepted into. Her calm public demeanour, most notably at an October 2025 literary festival appearance, conceals private anguish. Palace sources suggest she feels blindsided, her trust shaken by Anne's quiet but undeniable sway over King Charles. For Charles himself, the episode poses an excruciating dilemma, torn between his sister's unyielding traditionalism and his wife's rightful position as queen consort. The Balmoral snub threatens his campaign to project unity and continuity. Online, the reaction has been swift and unforgiving. Posts on X from September 2025, amplified by trending hashtags like #HackedAnneVizir, have ignited fierce debate over whether the monarchy is upholding fairness or merely clinging to outdated hierarchies. But the impact goes deeper than optics. By emphasizing blood over bond, Anne risks alienating not only Camilla, but her children, Tom and Laura Parker Bowles, who have quietly integrated into royal life. If this pattern of exclusion hardens into precedent, consorts may forever find themselves relegated to the margins, an outcome that could undermine Charles's long-held vision of a modern, inclusive monarchy. For Prince William, the implications are particularly delicate. As heir to the throne, he must choose whether to uphold Anne's purist view of royal order or to advocate for reconciliation and reform. His decision could shape the monarchy's tone for decades, one of evolution or entrenchment. Across Europe, monarchies like Denmark's have embraced flexibility, allowing younger royals to redefine their roles without eroding the crown's dignity. But in Britain, every misstep unfolds under a global spotlight. Anne's unwavering adherence to protocol, once a symbol of stability, now risks accelerating the very questions the royal family has long sought to avoid. Can an institution built on hierarchy survive in an era that prizes inclusion? As the fallout spreads, the Balmoral snub stands as more than a family dispute. It's a reckoning, a test of whether the British monarchy will adapt to the times or fracture under the weight of its own traditions. The fallout from Princess Anne's alleged decision to exclude Queen Camilla from the Balmoral photoshoot reverberates far beyond the Scottish Highlands, casting an unflinching light on the monarchy's fragile balance between heritage and modernity. That single image, with Anne at its centre and Camilla conspicuously absent, is more than a family tableau. It stands as a mirror reflecting the House of Windsor's enduring struggle. How to honour tradition while staying relevant in a world that no longer worships lineage, but demands transparency, empathy, and inclusion. The question looms large. Does this moment signal a retreat into bloodline purity, or will it become the reckoning that forces the monarchy to evolve? King Charles III's reign, now entering its third year as of October 2025, was built on a promise of renewal, a streamlined, cost-effective and relatable royal family fit for the 21st century. Yet the Balmoral shoot exposes the fragility of that promise. Still recovering from his 2024 cancer diagnosis, Charles has leaned heavily on Anne's steadfast sense of duty, trusting her to steady the institution through turbulence. But her assertive move risks deepening the very divisions he seeks to heal. For Camilla, the woman who weathered decades of scrutiny to stand beside him, her omission from that family frame revives old ghosts of controversy and exclusion. In the quiet absence of her image lies a loud message about the monarchy's unresolved identity. One foot in the past, the other hesitating to step into the future. Palace insiders, cited in a Telegraph report from September 2025, revealed that King Charles was deeply conflicted, approving the Balmoral photoshoot to sidestep a public confrontation, yet privately lamenting the snub to his wife. It was a delicate act of royal diplomacy, one that exposes a monarch torn between the demands of duty and the pull of devotion. That tension may well define his reign. Anne's prominent placement in the image, flanked by Prince William and Catherine, symbolised more than family hierarchy. It marked a quiet restoration of royal orthodoxy, a return to the primacy of blood over bond. Her stance reflects a lifetime of deference to tradition, but it risks sidelining those, like Camilla, who have fought to modernise the monarchy's image. Public reaction underscores the divide. A YouGov poll from late September 2025 placed Camilla's approval at 45%, down sharply from earlier highs, while Catherine soared at 72%. Social media, from X posts to Instagram comment threads, split sharply between admiration and outrage. Some hailed Anne's resolve to protect the crown's heritage, others dismissed it as a petty display of palace politics. The debate has grown larger than one photograph. It poses a question that strikes at the monarchy's heart. Can an institution built on hierarchy truly survive in an age that prizes inclusivity and merit? However, this risks alienating Camilla's supporters, including her children, who have quietly integrated into royal circles. One misstep could deepen public skepticism already heightened by recent scandals and health crises. Across Europe, monarchies in Denmark and Sweden offer a contrast, where younger royals have stepped back from official duties to pursue private lives. But Britain's monarchy, under the world's brightest spotlight, cannot move unnoticed. Every gesture, every omission, becomes a headline. The Balmoral photoshoot mirrors a quiet crossroads, much like that faced by James, Earl of Wessex, where personal choice collides with institutional expectation. Both moments reveal a monarchy standing at a turning point. Will it cling to tradition, as Anne fiercely advocates, or embrace a broader, more inclusive model? Camilla's next move, whether she steps back in silence or reasserts her presence, could force William's hand, reshaping the royal order itself. This single image, far from a simple family portrait, has become a mirror reflecting the monarchy's very soul, a portrait of power, pride, and the price of preservation. And perhaps that's the question that lingers most. Can the oldest institution in modern history truly change, or will it cling to its legacy until the very end? If you found this story insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal revelations and untold truths from inside the palace walls.